Welcome, everybody, to the Competition Archery Media Podcast, where we explore all things pertaining to competition archery. And, folks, we got a double for you here today. We've got Braden Gellenthien and Tanja Jansen. Folks, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Braden, tell us where you're sitting there, because everybody's looking at that big fish over your head.
So we're up at our family's lake house right now in upstate New York. We're on Lake George. And as soon as the whole outbreak started, we figured this was one of the safest places we could come because there just weren't a lot of people. I think right now we've got 10 houses around us and there's one neighbor. So we're doing all that.
Perfect. Wow. You're meeting that social distancing requirement.
For sure.
Do you have the lake to yourselves then?
Basically, I mean, I think I've seen 5 boats so far in the 2 weeks that the water's been open.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice.
So we were talking just a couple minutes ago. You guys shoot both the outdoor target archery and some 3D. We don't know what's coming up next. What are you guys preparing for, or what discipline are you practicing?
Realistically, right now, I think our first event is going to be the Bowfest OPA tournament. So right now, I'm still in 3D mode as far as training is concerned, because I'm hoping maybe the tournament in Georgia will take place. So I'm kind of on that track, but I'm going to be switching over to the 50-meter long distance, long range shooting here this week. So we've got some good weather days and a lot of training.
Yeah. Gotcha. Now, Tanja, the last ASA, you did pretty well in that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a good shoot.
And you were shooting known 45?
Yeah, I shoot the known 45s. I would love to shoot a pro class if there was one. But for now, I'm shooting the known 45, staying with the known yardage.
Gotcha. And so are you also shooting 3D, or have you started shooting 50 meters, or both?
I mostly shoot 50 meters. It's easier for me to just practice for that and then transition into other stuff, because I always feel like I have a way better understanding of how I'm shooting if I shoot 50 meters.
How much of a difference is that for you, where you go from a specific aiming dot, you're putting that thing right in the middle of the gold, versus 3D where you're trying to pick something?
It is incredibly hard. It's taken me years to learn, and I'm still not where some of the people who've been doing this their whole life is. So I think it's hard because you don't have that middle to aim for.
Yeah. How about you, Braden? Same thing.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, the whole indoors or, outdoors 50 meters, when you have a concentric ring, you know where the center is. It's never hiding, and you never have to see more than you think you see. But on 3D, you could be aiming at the spot you think it is, shoot a great shot, and you never get rewarded. So I'm still kind of up in the air and trying to figure that out. I'm struggling a little bit. But the biggest thing I've been doing is working on clarifiers, magnification to get the clearest target that I can.
Gotcha, yeah. Now, Braden, we should mention, for the folks who may not know this, but you have the most World Cup medals in history.
Yes.
How does that? I forget what the number is. It's like 60 something.
I think it's in the 70s now, but yeah,
70s.
Yeah, World Archery has always been my bread and butter. It's 50 meters. 50 meter competition comes. I'm not going to say easy to me, but I feel like I have a unique edge with my my mental thought process and match play, and it's definitely helped me have success over the years and then continued success.
We talk so much about 3D, but what does it take to become one of the best 50 meter archers in the world ever?
I was, when I came up through the junior ranking, I had a lot of success. I don't think I ever lost a domestic events in the 3 or 4 years that I was a junior. And that really helped me gain a lot of confidence in myself and my shot. So when I went to my first World Cup, it made sense that I won, because I was so used to it and I had confidence that I would have it and no one was going to get in the way. I did have a bit of a lull from 2009 to 2011, where it was kind of like I was struggling with my mind maturing and having that taste of defeat. So I had a lot of doubts during that period. But recently I've become a lot more comfortable with, the idea that you're going to win some, but you're going to lose a lot more than you win. And realizing that, you're still a good archer, even if you only win 3 or 4 events a year. That's still an amazing season. And you should be, happy and proud of that accomplishment. So I really feel like I've turned a corner mentally on that. And it's something that a lot of people need to, that you need to take a step back and realize that whether it's a win on a major tour, a personal best, or just, a personal best in practice, as long as you set a goal and work hard to achieve it, there are milestones and they need to be celebrated.
Is there in that game, the World Cup game,
Yes.
obviously the qualification round gets you your ranking, but
Correct.
is the match play where you really have to separate yourself from the pack?
A good qualification is always important because statistically you're going to have an easier road to the final. Once you get past the first couple matches, there are no easy matches anymore.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Right. So I like to look at the qualification as a glorified practice round where I'm not afraid to shoot a 9 because it's all a learning curve. And you're trying to figure out the wind for the following days and get comfortable in your shot and get comfortable with competition. So it's a way to ease yourself into the round.
The size of archery over in Europe and Denmark, how that differs. You get to see both sides. You get to see it there. You get to see it in the U.S. Tell me about the differences in target archery there.
It's not very big in Denmark at all.
Okay.
I think we have maybe 3,000 shooters. I'm not quite sure. It's not very many. It's not a very big thing. You can't win any money at tournaments or anything.
Even with you and Jansen on the team.
even with us on the team, yeah. That's the thing. There aren't really any other people on the team because we have so few shooters. There's nobody else.
Right.
You guys have a lot of weekend tournaments and national tournaments. You just don't have any of the big international draw.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah.
How about that? Well, I have to ask, because Braden, you're only the second person to shoot a perfect 660 in qualification at the Lancaster Archery Classic, and you shot your 600 this year at that was indoor nationals. Your indoor national qualifying. Those always amaze me because it's those last arrows that I just think I would just totally fall apart, and that would be the end of it. But how do you keep it together then? Because everybody's watching.
Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, Lancaster was way more nerve-wracking than doing it at nationals. I don't think it was so much that I had done it before. I think it was that all the camera people were behind me, and I felt like everyone was behind me at Lancaster on that last end.
We were.
Right? Yeah, and I remember I shot the first arrow, and it wasn't so bad. The second arrow was probably pretty similar to when I broke the 718 record at nationals a couple years ago outdoors. The third arrow, I remember pulling back and I was remarkably calm for the first second of hitting full draw. My pin sat in the middle, and I'm like, oh man, go, go, go. But it didn't. My pin was up in the 8 ring, and it just kind of slow motion came down onto the spot, and as soon as it hit, it fired. And I remember hearing it hit and hit soft, like it didn't hit fresh paper.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I was lucky enough to have Chris Perkins right next to me, and he was watching it, and he's like, yeah, dude, you did it. And then the crowd erupted. But at nationals, I knew going into practice that it was going to be a really good round. And I even went over to Tanja after the second end. I was like, today's going to be a good day. And I never say that. So the first 5 ends, I remember just trying to stay as focused as possible and not get complacent and just let one get away because I wasn't focused. And then once the 5th end kind of went into the 6th and 7th, it was more of a practice round mentality where I wasn't expecting to miss. I wasn't expecting to struggle at all. Every shot was just breaking clean. The pin wasn't really moving at all. And I was just existing and doing what I do. And then I remember N19 hit and I started to get the butterflies and just, it wasn't so much I was thinking 600. I was just thinking, man, I've got a really good round going. And then the last end, everybody knew what was going on. I shot the first arrow and I'm thinking, okay, the nerves didn't hit. All right, don't think, just shoot. The second arrow went off and the nerves didn't hit. The third arrow, the same thing. And it was in the target before I even got that buck fever. So
Nice.
I'm hoping that it's I'm turning a corner even in hunting maybe, and I won't feel that buck fever until after the last arrow's gone. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was really remarkable, and I'm ecstatic.
Is that an event that you want to see happen because you shot the 600, or you'd want it to happen anyway?
I mean, this is our job, so any weekend we're not at work, we're not getting paid. So of course I would love to have the event take place so that I have the opportunity to go to work and make some money, because my bank account's definitely going to be needing it after this whole quarantine's open. So yeah, I would love to see the event move forward. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not extremely excited for that first matchup. I have to shoot the winner between a match between Steve Anderson and Chance Bobef. So I mean, yeah, I shot the 600. I won the qualification portion of nationals, but I'm not sure there's an easy match in that top 8 or 9 shooters.
Right.
So it's going to be a knockdown, drag out event like it always is, and we're just going to have to play it by ear. And if the competition takes place, just be ready to go.
Yeah, that raises an interesting point. The U.S. men's team in the World Cup now. You guys are just dominating everything, and it seems like there's like up to 10 guys that it could be that all shoot phenomenally.
Yeah, we've got a really strong team, and like you said, there's 10 guys that could win any USAT event, and nobody would blink an eye, bat an eye at it. We're all, we've got a really high level of competition, and it seems like the young kids are coming up knowing that you're going to need a 705 or a 710 to compete. So if they're not shooting that in the junior class, they're not going to compete with us. So it's just like 3D. The kids coming up are like, oh, I need to shoot 20 up in known. Okay, well, I'm going to find a way to shoot 24 up. So our events just keep getting tighter and tighter, and the shooters keep getting more and more skilled. And I don't think that that's a trend that's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah. Tanja, what do you think we have to do to get some more women at that level?
We don't have the same, what do you say, pressure?
You don't have the same pressure. You don't have the same expectations.
For when the men shoot, they know they pretty much have to shoot a 149 or 150 to win.
Right.
I've won with 144s, or so it's as a female, it doesn't, you don't have this the same amount of pressure, and you can win with a bad score, and you can have a bad day and still win, and the men can't.
Braden Gellenthien, when you're practicing indoor, do you ever shoot an 8?
I honestly, I have not shot an 8 in a long time.
Darn it.
I'm sorry. I would be like, yeah, I do it all the time. I do shoot big 9s. I probably shoot 1 or 2 a week. And I seem to always shoot a week. 3 days in Vegas. But no, I mean, yeah, I've gone a couple days before without shooting anything outside the inner 10. But I've also had days where things aren't good. But the 8 ring's out of play.
Now, Braden, you've been in this game a long time. You said, 70 some World Cups. What's one of your best memories or experiences in all the travel you've done internationally?
Oh my gosh. Okay. The single most, I've got 2 events that kind of stand out. One was when I won my first World Cup final in Tokyo. My dad was there, and I remember turning around to him and like seeing the excitement in his eyes, and knowing how I was feeling. We both shared several tears of joy, and it was just kind of like I don't want to say it was like an aha moment, but it was so awesome to share that with him. And the other one that was really similar was when I broke the 12 arrow match play record in Copenhagen, and he was there again. It was a moment where I'm so happy that I was able to spend it with him. And it was something that I know he was just as proud and happy for me as I was just to spend it with him. So for me, I guess the archery successes aren't so much about the accomplishment. It's just sharing it with people who are important to me and having a moment that we're always going to remember.
That's great.
Tanja, same question.
Same question. I think my best memories are probably going to have to be the first time I won a big international competition. Nîmes was the first one, and just Nîmes and Vegas were, I remember I was buying flights for Nîmes, and I was looking at flights home on Sunday evening, like right around the finals. And I was talking to Martin Danspo about it. He was like, just in case you make it to the finals, don't buy a flight for Sunday. And I'm like, fine. So I ended up buying the Monday flight, and he was like, when we got to the finals on Sunday, he was like, I told you so.
That's
Yeah.
and
then-
what year did you win Vegas?
17.
That was 17. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. And you shot a 900?
Yes. I
Yeah,
did.
you are. I thought you were one of the ones to shoot a
Yeah.
900. Yeah. So tell me about that. How does that feel? What, Paige was the 6th, I believe. How does it feel to be one of those 6?
It feels pretty incredible. A lot of work was put into it because I won Nîmes, and I came home from Nîmes, and I found out I had qualified for the Indoor World Cup final, and I wasn't going to Vegas originally because I had to work. But I told my boss, and she was like, I mean, I can't not let you go. So it was like 2 weeks before Vegas. I bought my flights, and I spent the next 2 weeks every day at the range because I was trying to figure out arrows, and I was retuning my bow, and I was like, I want to be so ready for this tournament. So I spent like all day at the range. And even though I spent so many hours at the range, I got to Vegas, and the day before I was shooting one of those little 30 arrow tournaments, and I was switching between 2 arrows. I'm like, I still don't know what to shoot.
No kidding.
But I ended up going with my 23s just because they're just way more consistent for me compared to 27s or and everything went way better than I thought it would have.
Braden, you have video worthy celebrations, or I think in the one video it's referred to as the roar.
Oh, yeah.
Is that excitement, relief? Tell us about that moment
Yes.
when we see the emotion rise up.
So archery is a funny sport. It's one where you have a lot of adrenaline, but you can't let it course through your veins. In every other sport, if you have adrenaline, it's a great thing. Like, a football player gets adrenaline, like you can't tackle him. A golfer, even if he gets adrenaline, he's going to hit the ball further off the tee. Archery, if you get adrenaline, you're going to aim horribly and you're going to shoot a bad shot. So that roar that you have, it's more of like you said, it's an emotional release, and it's like a change in your focus and your brain and everything. And it's kind of just like a way to get rid of that adrenaline.
Yeah.
It's a release. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite highlights to watch when you're in that moment and that last arrow goes and you can just see it.